Do you sleep well? Do you wake refreshed, full of energy, ready for the day? Or do you rise tired, drag yourself to the coffee and rely on stimulants just to function? Do you take melatonin, wear a sleep mask, use white noise apps? A 13th century peasant had none of these things, no orthopedic mattress, no temperature control, no blackout curtains. And yet, they slept deeply, woke naturally with the sun, worked physically all day without collapsing. Historical records and anthropological studies reveal something striking. The structural quality of medieval sleep was superior to our own modern experience. How was this possible? How could people in cold, drafty cottages, without central heating, without pharmacies, without technology, sleep better than you do in a climate-controlled bedroom with a 1,000-pound mattress? The answer lies not in material comfort, but in biological synchronization. Medieval people lived in harmony with natural rhythms that we have utterly destroyed. Today we shall uncover the secrets of ancestral sleep and explain why our obsession with artificial comfort has created the greatest insomnia epidemic in human history. Picture rural Europe between the 10th and 15th centuries, scattered villages across England, Scandinavia, Germany and France, where winters were long and dark, summers short but intense. Life was structured by the sun, by the seasons, by natural cycles. There was no electricity. Artificial light was limited to expensive candles and oil lamps. When the sun set, darkness descended completely, and darkness signaled sleep. There was no choice, no streaming services, no smartphones, only darkness, silence, and a body demanding rest after a day of physical labor. Each family lived in simple cottages, wattle and daub walls, thatched roofs, small unglazed windows. Cold crept in easily, yet inside, around the central hearth, a gentle microclimate formed. The fire burned slowly through the night, providing moderate, never excessive warmth. Temperature was not constant as in a modern flat. It varied, cooling towards dawn. And precisely this natural thermal variation facilitated smooth transitions between sleep stages. The medieval body followed patterns shaped over hundreds of thousands of years of evolution. We have broken those patterns in little more than a century. We moderns tend to believe medieval people slept poorly, that they woke cold, aching, in constant discomfort, that hard beds and lack of heating made for wretched nights. This narrative reassures us. At least we sleep better than they did. Yet historical and anthropological evidence tells the opposite story. Records of medieval dreams, monastic diaries, travelers' accounts all describe deep, restorative sleep, frequently divided into two periods with a calm nocturnal waking in between. This was considered normal, healthy, even desirable. Studies of sleep patterns in contemporary pre-industrial societies confirm the pattern. Humans without artificial light sleep differently. They do not take 8 continuous hours. They sleep in 2 blocks of 3 to 4 hours, separated by 1 or 2 hours of quiet wakefulness in the middle of the night. During this interval, people meditated, prayed, spoke softly with partners, performed light tasks. It was a period of profound calm, free from anxiety, screens, or stimulation. Afterwards, they returned to sleep until dawn. Biphasic sleep, the ancestral pattern that modern psychologists are now rediscovering as potentially more natural than the industrialized monophasic sleep we attempt to enforce. Compare this with the modern Western sleep experience. We try to force 8 unbroken hours. We take medication if we wake in the night. We label waking at 3 in the morning as insomnia, as disorder, as medical problem. But perhaps it is not disorder. Perhaps it is simply the body attempting to follow an ancestral pattern in an environment that forbids it. We fight biology with pharmacology. Medieval people simply followed what the body requested, without anxiety, without struggle, merely acceptance of natural rhythms, and they slept better precisely because they did not attempt to control everything artificially. The single most important factor for sleep quality is alignment of the circadian rhythm with the solar cycle. The circadian rhythm is the internal biological clock that governs sleep, body temperature, hormones, and metabolism. It is set primarily by light exposure. Morning sunlight signals time to wake, produce cortisol, raise temperature, become alert. Nighttime darkness signals, time to produce melatonin, lower temperature, prepare for sleep. Medieval people received these signals clearly every day without interference. They woke with the first rays of sun. They slept with the arrival of darkness, simple yet profoundly effective. Today we wake to an alarm in a dark room. We switch on artificial light immediately. During the day we remain indoors under weak artificial illumination, receiving insufficient natural sunlight. At night we bombard our eyes with blue light from screens, computers, phones, televisions. This blue light mimics daylight, deceives the brain, suppresses melatonin, and delays sleep onset. We go to bed late, force sleep with artificial darkness, and wake to an alarm that interrupts natural cycles. The circadian rhythm becomes completely desynchronized. The body no longer knows what time it is. It struggles constantly between conflicting signals. The result is fragmented sleep, difficult waking, chronic fatigue. Medieval people had no such problem. The sun was their natural alarm clock. Darkness was their natural sleep inducer. There was no confusion, no ambiguity. The body knew precisely what to do and when. Melatonin production began naturally at dusk. 2 or 3 hours later, sleep arrived easily, without struggle, without medication, merely biology functioning as it was designed to over millions of years of evolution. Today we try to repair poor sleep with technology. Medieval people simply did not break sleep in the first place. Prevention, not correction. Always more effective. The medieval peasant worked physically all day long, ploughing fields, chopping wood, carrying hay, building fences, tending livestock. Constant, varied outdoor labor. The body moved intensely, muscles worked. The cardiovascular system was stimulated. Energy was expended. By evening, a deep, healthy physical fatigue arrived naturally. Not morbid exhaustion, but the wholesome tiredness that comes from a body properly used. And this physical fatigue facilitated deep restorative sleep. The body needed recovery. Sleep was not a luxury, it was an obvious, urgent biological necessity. Contrast this with modern sedentary life. Most people work seated for 8, 10, 12 hours, staring at screens. The mind may be exhausted, but the body has expended little physical energy. We return home mentally drained yet physically restless. The body has received no clear signal that the day's physical work is done. There is no profound muscular fatigue demanding recovery. The mind is agitated by mental stress, while the body remains underused, still carrying unspent energy. The result? Difficulty switching off at night. We toss and turn, overthink. The body wants to move, yet we force stillness. Sleep does not come easily. Medieval people did not separate mental and physical labor as we do. Even monastic scribes interrupted manuscript copying to work in gardens. Every activity had a physical component. The body was the primary tool of labor, and a well-used tool requires maintenance, deep sleep. Today we neglect the body during the day, then expect it to simply switch off at night. It does not work that way. Human biology expects significant daily physical activity. Without it, sleep suffers. Medieval people met this expectation naturally. We have created an artificial deficit of movement, then complain of insomnia. Cause and effect could not be clearer. Medieval eating patterns optimized sleep. The main meal came midday after morning heavy labor. Dense bread, thick broth, meat when available, vegetables, weak ale. Fuel for the afternoon's work. The evening meal was light, simple soup, bread, leftovers from lunch, small, digestible, never heavy. The stomach was not overburdened during sleep. Digestion did not steal energy needed for cellular repair. Moreover, the last meal was taken 2 to 3 hours before sleep, allowing initial digestion before deep rest began. Today we do the opposite. We skip breakfast or eat little. Lunch is rushed, often nutritionally poor. The largest meal comes late in the evening, frequently heavy, laden with refined carbohydrates, sugar, industrial fats. The body receives a caloric bombardment precisely when it should be winding down. Insulin spikes. Digestion works intensely. Core temperature rises when it should fall for sleep. Sugar causes peaks and sharp nocturnal drops in blood glucose, waking us at 3 in the morning with hunger or anxiety. The modern eating pattern actively fights quality sleep. Furthermore, medieval people consumed no evening stimulants, no coffee after supper, no caffeinated soft drinks, no dark chocolate at 11 o'clock. Medieval ale was weak, hydrating, mildly sedative thanks to hops and fermentation. It did not disrupt sleep, it facilitated relaxation. Fluids were reduced after dusk to avoid nocturnal waking for the chamber pot. Everything aligned to support uninterrupted sleep within each biphasic block. Today we drink coffee late, eat chocolate at night, consume strong alcohol that fragments sleep architecture. And then we wonder why we do not rest. Medieval people understood intuitively what modern science now confirms. What we eat and when determines how we sleep. Deep sleep requires a drop in core body temperature. This is physiological, non-negotiable. The body must cool to enter profound REM sleep. Medieval people lived in environments that facilitated this naturally. The central hearth warmed the cottage through the night, but never excessively. Thin walls allowed constant air exchange. Unglazed windows permitted night breezes. The result was a fresh, never stuffy atmosphere that let the body regulate temperature through layers of bedding. More blankets when cold, fewer when warmer. Natural, intuitive control without electronic thermostats. Medieval beds were simple: wooden platforms, straw or wool mattresses, heavy wool or linen blankets. Natural, breathable materials. Straw insulated from the cold floor without trapping excessive heat. Wool regulated temperature, warming when cold, ventilating when warm. The body could micro-adjust temperature during the night without conscious waking. Moreover, sleeping with a partner or the entire family sharing the space provided additional natural warmth. It was not merely economical, it was thermally efficient. Close human contact during sleep also increases feelings of safety, reduces cortisol, and improves sleep quality. We evolved sleeping in groups. Medieval people maintained this. We have isolated ourselves. Today, we overheat bedrooms. 22 or 23 degrees all night long. The body cannot cool adequately. We sweat beneath non-breathable synthetic duvets. We wake damp and uncomfortable. Or we use air conditioning excessively, drying mucous membranes and causing respiratory discomfort. Artificial extremes have replaced natural modulation. Modern foam mattresses trap body heat. Synthetic pajamas prevent evaporation. We have created environments that feel comfortable yet are physiologically unsuitable for deep sleep. Medieval people slept in conditions that would seem uncomfortable today, yet were biologically ideal. Perceived comfort is not functional comfort. We must relearn this crucial distinction. Medieval people referred to the wakeful interval between sleep blocks as the first watch or midnight watch. Historical records describe this time as quiet, contemplative, valuable. People woke naturally after the first sleep period, remained in bed or rose briefly. They prayed, meditated, spoke softly with spouses, reviewed dreams. Some performed small tasks, tending the fire, checking animals, using the latrine. Most simply rested quietly, without anxiety, without feeling they should be sleeping. After an hour or two, sleep returned naturally. The second block was lighter, richer in dreams, preparing the body for gradual waking at dawn. This pattern was not disorder. It was normal, universal, documented across pre-industrial Europe. Medieval literature refers to first sleep and second sleep as common, non-pathological concepts. Physicians of the time considered nocturnal waking healthy. Prayer manuals suggested using it for spiritual contemplation. It was productive time, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. Scientifically, it makes sense. Our evolutionary ancestors on African savannas could not sleep 8 hours unprotected. Periodic waking to check for danger was adaptive. Biphasic sleep may be a deep evolutionary program, not a flaw to be corrected. Today, if we wake in the night, we panic. We check the clock, calculate remaining hours, reach for the phone, check messages. Blue light from the screen destroys any chance of returning to sleep. The mind races. I have insomnia. I shall be tired tomorrow. I must sleep now. Anxiety spikes cortisol. The body goes on alert. Sleep flees. We struggle, toss, become frustrated. Medieval people simply accepted. They rested calmly in darkness, without judgment, without fight. The body naturally returned to sleep when ready. Acceptance is more powerful than forced control. They knew this intuitively. We have forgotten, and we pay with wretched nights fighting a biology we no longer understand. Medieval people did not suffer modern nocturnal anxiety. They did not check emails at 11 o'clock. They did not consume disturbing news before bed. They did not compare lives on social media. They did not worry about investment portfolios. They received no urgent work messages. When the sun set, work ended. There was no expectation of nocturnal productivity. Darkness was time for rest, full stop. The mind could switch off without guilt, without pressure, without stimulation. Only tranquility, routine, predictability, psychological safety facilitated the mental disengagement necessary for deep sleep. Social structure further reduced anxiety. Communities were small, stable, everyone known to each other. Life was hard yet predictable. There was no modern existential uncertainty. Social roles were clear. A peasant's son would be a peasant. There was no anguish of infinite choice, no fear of missing out, no constant comparison with unattainable lives of strangers online. Expectations were realistic, attainable. Tomorrow would bring more fieldwork, the same routine. This bred not desperate resignation, but quiet acceptance. And sleep flourishes in tranquil minds, not agitated ones. Today we go to bed with minds full. Financial worries, professional pressures, relationship concerns, existential questions, endless unmade choices, comparisons with curated lives of strangers online. Catastrophic global news consumed seconds before sleep, body in bed, mind everywhere. Medieval people did not carry the entire world in their heads simultaneously. They had only their village, their family, their work. The world was small, manageable. The mind could rest. It is not that life was objectively easier, it was psychologically more contained. And containment permits rest. Infinite expansion of information and possibilities guarantees anxiety. Modern freedom carries a price. One of them is sleep, perhaps too high a price. Insomnia is a modern epidemic. Studies indicate that 30 to 40% of adults in industrialized countries suffer chronic insomnia or sleep disorders. The global market for sleep medication is worth billions. The mattress industry promises ever more technological solutions. Memory foam, electronic adjustments, sleep tracking, apps promise to monitor brain waves, supplements promise perfect sleep. Yet nothing works consistently because we are not addressing causes. We are attempting to compensate for a lifestyle fundamentally incompatible with human biology. It is like bailing out a leaking boat with a bucket instead of repairing the hole. The causes are clear: artificial light destroying circadian rhythm, sedentary behavior creating lack of physical fatigue, heavy evening meals disrupting digestion, late stimulants, chronic stress elevating cortisol, mental anxiety from a hyper-connected world. Each factor individually impairs sleep. Together they guarantee insomnia. And then we turn to medication: benzodiazepines, non-benzodiazepine hypnotics, sedating antidepressants, antihistamines. These drugs do not produce natural sleep. They produce sedation. Sleep architecture is altered. REM sleep is suppressed. We wake groggy, not refreshed. Dependence develops. Side effects accumulate. We are medicalizing an environmental and behavioral problem. Medieval people did not experience epidemic insomnia because they did not have modern causes. Their lives aligned with biology rather than fought against it. We should not return literally to medieval life, but we must recognize that we have destroyed the conditions that permit natural sleep. Electricity, industrialization, and globalization have brought immense benefits. They have also brought hidden costs. Sleep is one of them, and sleep is not a luxury. It is a fundamental biological necessity. Chronic sleep deprivation causes obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, dementia, cancer, premature death. This is not exaggeration. It is scientifically documented. We are sacrificing health and longevity for a lifestyle that guarantees poor sleep. The question is it worth it? And if not, what shall we do? We cannot eliminate electricity, but we can use it more wisely. First, morning sunlight exposure. Go outside in the early hours. 20 minutes of direct sunlight on the eyes calibrates the circadian rhythm. Even on cloudy days, it matters. Diffuse natural light is stronger than indoor illumination. This practice alone dramatically improves nocturnal sleep. Second, reduce artificial light at night. Use warm, low-intensity lamps after sunset. Eliminate screens 2 hours before bed. If impossible, use blue light filters or blocking glasses. Simulate the natural darkness the body expects. Third, daily physical movement. It need not be formal, intense exercise. Long walks, manual work, gardening, anything that expends real physical energy. 30 minutes minimum, ideally 60. Preferably outdoors, gaining additional sunlight. The body needs to feel it has worked, that it deserves rest. Fourth, eating aligned with ancestral rhythm. Substantial breakfast, main meal at midday, light supper 2 to 3 hours before sleep. Avoid sugar and caffeine after early afternoon. Eliminate strong alcohol that fragments sleep. Drink weak ale or relaxing herbal teas, chamomile, valerian, hops. Fifth, appropriate temperature. A cool bedroom, 16 to 19 degrees ideally. Natural breathable bedding, wool, cotton, linen. Natural fiber pajamas or none at all. Allow the body to regulate temperature naturally. Sixth, if nocturnal waking occurs, accept it. Do not fight. Do not reach for the phone. Remain in bed, in total darkness, breathing calmly. Meditate silently. Perhaps read by minimal light. Accept biphasic sleep as potentially natural. Return to sleep will come. Seventh, establish a consistent evening ritual. Medieval people had fixed routines. The brain responds well to patterns. Same bedtime, same pre-sleep activities, washing, prayer or meditation, light reading. Predictability reduces anxiety and eases transition to sleep. We live in a fundamental tension, modern technology versus ancestral biology. Our genes are Paleolithic. The body expects patterns we no longer provide. Sunlight regulating rhythms, physical work expending energy, simple food, stable community, nocturnal darkness inducing melatonin, silence permitting rest. Modern life offers the opposite. Constant artificial illumination, sedentarism, processed food, social isolation, nocturnal stimulation, urban noise. Genetics do not change in a century. The environment has changed completely. The result is systemic mismatch affecting all health, especially sleep. The solution is not to reject technology entirely. It is to use technology in a biologically informed manner. Smart lamps that shift color and intensity to mimic the solar cycle. Apps that automatically block blue light. Alarms that wake according to sleep cycles rather than arbitrary times. Wearables that monitor sleep and suggest behavioral adjustments rather than merely drugs. Architecture that maximizes daytime natural light. Urban planning that reduces nocturnal light pollution. Labor policies that permit adequate sleep. Technology can serve biology, but it must be designed consciously for that purpose, not solely for maximum productivity, regardless of human cost. Medieval people had no choice. They lived as nature allowed. We have choices. We can voluntarily align modern lifestyles with ancestral biological needs. This is not regression. It is intelligent integration. Retain modern benefits, advanced medicine, global communication, scientific knowledge, yet recover practices that sustained human health for millennia. Natural circadian rhythm, daily physical movement, unprocessed food, real social connection, sleep that respects biology. This is not impossible. It requires only awareness and commitment. And the benefits are immense: energy, mental clarity, physical health, longevity, quality of life. Medieval people had these things without effort. We can reclaim them with intention. So we return to the initial question. Why did the medieval peasant sleep better than you? Because his life did not fight biology. There was no separation between natural and everyday. Work aligned with sunlight. Food followed metabolic rhythms. Darkness induced sleep naturally. The body moved intensely, tired appropriately, rested deeply. There was no anxiety of infinite choices, no nocturnal stimulation, no struggle against the internal clock. It was functional simplicity, and it worked extraordinarily well. Not from romanticism, from fundamental biological compatibility. We, with 1,000-pound mattresses, melatonin supplements, sleep apps, perfectly insulated rooms, sleep poorly. We wake tired, drag through the day, depend on caffeine. Arrive at night mentally exhausted yet physically restless. We lie down yet sleep does not come. We struggle, become frustrated, medicate, and repeat the cycle daily. This is not progress, it is dysfunction normalized. We accept as inevitable what is in fact avoidable. We created the problem, then built a billion-pound industry attempting to solve it without removing causes. Systemic madness disguised as modernity. The solution lies not in new products, it lies in ancient principles. Not in more technology, but in using technology wisely while respecting biology. Not in more control, but in greater acceptance of natural rhythms. Medieval people did not know the science of sleep, yet they respected empirically what worked. We know the science, yet ignore its practical application. Knowledge without action is useless. We need humility to admit, not everything modern is better. Some things ancient worked superiorly. Sleep is one of them, and poor sleep destroys everything else. Health, mood, relationships, work, longevity, all suffer when we sleep badly. It is the foundation of healthy life. Perhaps it is time to stop buying solutions and start eliminating causes. Perhaps time to recognize that the body is not a machine to be hacked, but an organism to be respected. Perhaps time to relearn what medieval people knew intuitively. Work with light, rest with darkness, move the body during the day, feed appropriately, accept natural rhythms. It is not complicated. It requires no expensive products. It requires only a shift in perspective, different priorities, the courage to live slightly differently in a world that constantly pressures for more productivity, more connection, more stimulation. Resisting that pressure is a revolutionary act, and the reward is profound. Tranquil nights, waking, refreshed, sustained energy, mental clarity, true health. The medieval peasant slept well, not despite his simple life, but because of it. Simplicity was not poverty of options, but richness of alignment. His life synchronized with greater forces, sun, seasons, body, community. He did not fight them. He flowed with them. And in that flow, he found deep rest. We have lost this, but we can recover it. Not completely, not perfectly, but significantly. It begins with recognition. Our ancestors, even without modern science, slept better because they lived better. Not materially, biologically. And biology matters more than we believe. It is time to stop fighting it and start working with it. Your dreams will thank you, your body will thank you, your entire life will improve, one night at a time.